Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with Mr. John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we are doing a deep dive into what we love to talk about, water chemistry. But before we do that, we want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We are talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the SPPA, Blu-ray Excel, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Heritage Pool Supply, Hayward Pool Products, Poolside Tech, Pool Brain, and US Motors. We want to thank them for their continued support. I was trying to do a dramatic slowdown, and then my brain just kind of, I slowed it down, and then my brain just slowed down at the end there.
You are Zach, powering down. I'm doing good.
It was kind of, it was one of those where like thought I had an idea, but then halfway through the idea, I figured that I didn't have an idea, and it bombed really quick. That's what happened.
You almost had it. You almost nailed that one. Yeah, next time, right?
Yeah.
We've been lucky this year. I was just telling you, last year we went through May and we got 9 inches of rain, and it was brutal as far as taking care of pools. And this year we were skating by, and I thought we were going to be free and clear, but this last week we have just been getting annihilated. I don't know if you've been getting, I think you got one the other day, but it's like daily thunder, lightning, just torrential downpour down here this week. So I feel bad for everyone out in the field because, after that, it gets really humid here. So it's just been kind of a miserable week for everyone.
Yeah. I think I was talking to, who I was talking to? Was I talking to you, John, yesterday that I was talking about the rain or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, it was raining. And I walked outside and it was really humid. And I'm like, oh, never mind. I'm going back in.
No, it wasn't me. But
was that you, Zach? I don't remember who I was talking to, and I turned around and I'm like, nope, this is not for me today.
It's real. I was working in the warehouse, and it's like all of a sudden you're like not doing a lot, but then you just have beads of water like running down your arms.
Yeah. So we got a couple of those, but not as bad as Austin. Have you been watching the hail from Austin?
I didn't see it,
dude. Go on, just go on Instagram or go on the news. Dude, it's gnarly. Like there had to be major damage everywhere. So, but we got, I think, a couple of days of rain, and then one of the days our tornado warnings were going off. Like we were kind of somewhat, it's a big path, but we were somewhat. So the alarms were going off. So we had some people visiting, and everybody was like, just nervous, and we're like, it's okay, you'll be fine. And they're like, but hear the alarms.
They're trying to take us out with the weather, man.
Yeah. Mr. Flawless, what's going on?
Not a whole lot.
You're looking nice and refreshed today.
It's probably because I actually have a like 3rd generation webcam or something, where you guys, like your picture looks half-ass, right?
I told you I gave up. I gave up.
And then Zach is like, wow, bro. Yeah. He was like, it's like almost, it's like a filter that you've put on or something. Do you have a filter turned on?
He's got He's got to have like a green filter.
So, I mean, thank you for the compliment that I look refreshed. And I think it's just
you do like your eyes and your like you look like.
Well, it's because I cut my hair. Well, I cut it a little while ago. It's growing out a little bit, but I do feel better. Again, it's hot. We're the complete opposite from you guys. So I wish we had rain. We have zero rain. We're in the hundreds again. And, and it's been a little humid here too. So not only is it hot, but we're getting that humidity part of it. So that's it's a little frustrating, but this month, like from this week until like the end of June, is probably the worst week for us all year. I mean, the worst month for us all year.
Is that because of the heat? Because
of the heat, but more importantly, it's because of the heat. One, transitioning into a hotter time where we're going to be in triple digits moving forward. Mm-hmm. So by the end of June, we're well over 110 degrees. But palm tree flowering is now. So we have a lot of palm trees. We live in Palm Springs, Palm Desert, right? Trust me, we have palm trees. It's as if we were like on an island or something. And we have probably millions of palm trees in our valley. And over the years we've gotten better with our homes and picking them out, but for those of you that haven't experienced a palm tree breeding all over your pool or whatever the hell they're doing, you know what I mean?
Is it the big freaking sack?
Yeah, and it's the little
flower type flowers, thing. Yeah,
and it is. You just can't explain it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're there, and the whole literally, you get pools that are just completely covered, and you can't even see water. And it is, I mean, they wreak havoc on the pools. But over the years, we've gotten our customers trained, and we've been on top of it. The minute it starts happening, it's like we're like arborists now, we have everything all perfectly lined up with the season and the temperature and how things were. And I sit out with binoculars and I have my test palm tree and I can figure out, and then we get on top of it with our clients and we say, hey, time to trim palm
John's
trees.
over there licking the palm tree. Okay, this one's about 3 months out, and licks the other.
Right?
Oh, this one's ready to go.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll fall in your mouth as you're netting, and then by the time you get to the other side, the whole other side is already covered with it. And it's never ending. And week after week after week after week, they just keep going. It's like it just never ends. Unless you get it trimmed. And then the problem is if you trim them too soon, then they reflower again. So there's like I've learned all this, right?
There's a waiting period.
There is a time, right?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised
we have to time it correctly and we do it. But I mean, I do have one pool left that is the worst of the worst. And it's an older pool, right? Out in Rancho Mirage, and a little free-form pool, probably about 18,000 gallons. And over the top, just imagine there are 14 palm trees that surround it. Now the palm trees aren't necessarily like a couple feet from the pool, but they're probably about 10 feet out, right? And they circle the whole pool, but over time they've kind of come together like this. And you look up and it's like, you don't even see sky. You just see these like 14 palm trees, right? That are right above it, and it rains so much crap on top of the pool, where it's like our hell month. And but once we get over this, then it's kind of you're acclimated. You've gotten done with all that crap, and then you're ready to rock and roll. But yeah,
it's funny you say that because I've never thought about it. But it's like we in Houston have no like identifying tree. Like we have pine trees, palm trees, oak trees. It's like a weird melting pot of all the different types of trees. It's like someone master planning the city just really didn't think it through. I don't know.
It is terrible. And look, and like I said, cleaners and we have solar skimmers running. I mean, those things are like when we get there, they're like puking out, right? They're like totally stuffed, dude. There's like you couldn't fit another one in there. And pump baskets are like, they're like, I'm going to send you pictures, Zach, so you can see what I'm talking about. It is an absolute nightmare, but it is what it is.
That's funny.
But no, I'm excited about today. I think today's a nice little change of speed.
Yeah,
It's going to be
absolutely.
fun to talk about a little bit of chemistry. I know we had our live on Wednesday, and a lot of people were loved it and wanted more of it. So we said, hey, why don't we just do a little bit of it, or talk about the questions on the podcast, and that way people have it as
Chemistry,
as something
baby.
they can go back to. Yep.
Chemistry, baby. This time of the year, that's what we got to talk about. A base tree distance by pool wind.
Yes,
Sounds like
exactly.
the palm trees are 8 miles an hour
7
from
point.
the pool. Huh?
Yeah. 7.8.
Right, Michael.
You're very close, Michael.
So anyways, big shout out there to Michael that is on live with us. So, hey, let's get through a couple things. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominations for the Pool Nation Awards open June 18th. So that is how many days away? So that's 19 days away. 19 days away, gentlemen. And so, by the way, anybody that's listening to this, I think there's one more day left for the 30 under 40 for the Pool Pro magazine. So go to their website, submit for the 30 under 40 for them as well. August 20th is going to be the nomination night, and that's going to be the night before the Women's Summit, which, by the way, gentlemen, the Women's Summit is sold out. I closed the registration. Dude, we're freaking 8 days away, and it's sold out.
Yeah, well, I mean, women are on
looking forward to it.
They're motivated.
I'm so looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of Zach. Bring your pen and your pad, because you know what? Here's what I recommend. Just bring a recorder. It's going to be easier for you. But there's going to be some legit stuff that's going on. We had some conversations, Doreen and I, yesterday with some of the people that are going to be presenting. We talked to Stacy, which is going to be just absolutely amazing. We talked to Jill from Heritage and SRS, and it's just going to be some really good stuff that's coming up the pipeline. So that's going to be August 21st and 22nd at Heritage headquarters in McKinney, Texas. And then the $10,000 Pool Pro Challenge is going to be October 22nd. The Pool Nation Awards is going to be October 23rd, which is going to be the Thursday night of the show. The PSP Expo is the 22nd through the 24th, and the Pool Nation Conference is going to be the 24th through the 25th. So stay tuned. We'll give out some more details on all those things out there. Want to talk a little bit really quick before we jump in, John, to answering all the water chemistry questions. Want to talk really quick about the Pool Nation conference that we're going to be doing, the only business conference focus for the Pool Pro. We're going to be doing some classes. So I want to talk about those really quick, and then we'll jump in. So day one, which is going to be the 24th, we're going to be doing 5 different classes. The first one is going to be turning pools into profits and how to build a business, not just a route. A lot of that is, figuring out the profitability mentality since day one, and how do you focus on profit since day one? What things do you do to start to leverage and set your company up for success from day one, so that, we really turn in the technicians, the pool pros, into really those business owners really early in the game.
The next one will be turn metrics into money, what your financials are telling you. And this is something we talk about all the time, but you want to be leading your business with data. And in your financials, there's a lot of key data that can help you make better decisions. And by making better decisions, become a more profitable company.
And then following that, we have know your costs, grow your profits. It's business math made simple for pool pros, right? It's to learn exact formulas and methods so that you can price your services and your installs right, so that you can protect your bottom line.
Absolutely. And then the next one is going to be financial planning and exit strategy, something that we don't always talk about, and really kind of a couple different things. How do you prepare yourself for your exit? And more importantly, how do you set up your business to make sure that you get more multipliers for it when you are ready to call it a day? Yeah, that's going to be, that one's going to be a really good class.
The next one is profit is not cash, mastering cash flow to stay in control all year. And what is the saying, Edgar, that you've come up with? You can run out of cash flow, but you can't run out of profit.
I got to give the credit to Hal Dunbar.
You can run out of profit, but you can't run out of cash
Hal
flow.
Dunbar was, you can run out of profit a couple times, but you can't run out of cash flow.
Yeah, so this one will really help you learn how to avoid those crunches in cash flow and start building financial stability.
And then going into day 2, we start off with the talent life cycle, and it's building skills for your business to succeed, right? It helps you unlock full potential of your team by mastering the talent life cycle. We go into that in more detail so you understand it, and it teaches you how to build skills at every stage and drive performance, foster growth, and create a thriving people-powered organization.
Hey, big shout out to Mr. Matt out there. He's saying, looking good, guys. I know he's referring to me because I'm in the middle of the screen, but hey, I'll share a little bit of that love with you guys out there. So the next class is going to be developing high-performing teams, right? We start talking about getting into that talent life cycle, and really you have to be able to develop a high-performing team, because at this stage you're going to have to, start working on the business and not just in the business. And your success, your business is really going to start with your people, and it's really going to give you a lot of the strategies to build, lead, and inspire everybody within your team to kind of focus on making sure that you're aligning goals and expectations, and really kind of enhance that collaboration.
And then that's followed up with the power of partnership, cultivating true collaboration in your team. And so Edgar was just talking about teams. Well, now it's how do you get your team to collaborate together, to work smarter together. And in this course, you're going to discover how to break down silos, enhance your communication, build a culture where ideas flow freely, and then just really bring your team together to solve problems and innovate and achieve shared goals.
And then we get into dive into time management strategies. It's one thing we all fully aware of, but sometimes we truly don't. We underestimate the importance of it. And, it helps you. We're going to teach you how to take control of your day and maximize your productivity, right? Because there's only so much daylight in the day, and there's only so much time you can spend. And being able to maximize your schedule and your time can help boost productivity by 2-3-fold. We've all fallen victim to it before, where we just don't plan enough ahead, and we waste our time spinning our wheels on certain things that we shouldn't, where we can be much more productive. So we're going to teach you the skills to be able to manage your time better, so you can lead a more successful day and turn it into profits.
Absolutely. Mr. Corey Holland, big shout out. Morning, fellas. Hope all is well in the world. Big shout out to you out there. Which, by the way, John, on the last podcast, he was kind of sharing what he's doing at his house.
It's unbelievable.
He's in a freaking compound out there. I think he's preparing for the end of the world out there is what he's preparing for. He's like, I'm going to have my own little world over here. And when the whole rest of the world falls apart, I could be all set up over here. He says, let's see what he says. Love the rain, had a bunch last 3 nights, but with heavy rain comes a few flooded pools with mud. And I'm sure that in his house, the sound of that rain has got to sound good in the middle of the night, right? Oh, yeah, man. So anyways, the last class that we are going to do, 100 by 100 baseball field coming soon into his house, John.
Dude, he's kind of freaking me out a little bit. He's turning into
it's like that.
I know.
Homestead,
or
apocalyptic,
yeah, it's going to literally be like an amusement park, or
I'm going to tell you how this goes.
Or hopefully it's not turning into like the Never Never Land or something like that, right? What is it? Never Never Land Ranch? Or what is it? Michael Jackson's compound?
It goes like this. It goes like this. And I'm just going to do like a kid's voice. Dad, I want to learn how to play baseball. Oh, great. I'll just build you 100 by 100 field out here. And then that way we can just kind of play all the baseball that you want.
Build it, they will come.
They will come. Make sure you put a little cornfield over to the other side.
No, but it's really impressive though what he's doing, what he's done. I mean,
yeah.
That is like, I mean, for real, that's goals right there. I'd love to be able to have a huge piece of land.
Homeboy has a zip line over the pond already.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, now it's worth going. Now the question to you, Corey, is if we're on the zip line and we accidentally on purpose let go, is the pond deep enough for us to be able to kind of swim? And is it safe enough to swim?
Probably has giant catfish in it.
Yeah, right. It is stocked. He said that last time, right? That it's stocked. Look at that. Cornfield's actually coming with the 24. Of course.
Field of dreams, baby.
Cornfield is actually coming with a 21-foot silo.
Crazy. Good for you.
Oh, we are so doing that. Hey, Corey, let me ask you this. How many people can sleep over at your house? How big of a compound do you have out there? I think what we do, guys, is the next outing for Pool Nation. We do it down there, and we do a training, and we do let's kind of say, and next thing you know, he's going to say, "Oh, I can fit 16 RVs, all plug in, all units, all kind of stuff out there. Just kind of bring them out." So he's saying absolutely, and then with a bunch of cats and bass. Yep, it's catfish and bass. So. Anyway, so the last class is going to be driving results through accountability. And at the end of the day, right, you need to bring this all home. There has to be that accountability. He says, bring a tent, maybe 100. Maybe we can fit 100 and do a whole bunch of different individual tents on all that yard out there.
Where's the house at? Is it not in like Waco, Texas or anything like that?
Close.
He's out in San Antonio. So,
Okay.
Anyways, the last class, driving results through accountability. Really, at the end of the day, you can do all these things, but if you don't have an accountability set up, nothing's going to happen, right? So it's really something that's going to teach you how to set clear expectations, create ownerships at every level of your business, and really foster a driven result type of culture. So anyways, those are some of the business classes that are coming. We do have some technical classes that are coming. We do have some hands-on classes that are coming. If you are part of the business matrix, you are going to get your own individual separate classes that nobody else can attend, only the business matrix. Those are going to be a lot more intense. They're going to be 2-hour classes, and 1 hour is going to be a lot of the educational, the learning. The second part is going to be a lot of the role play, a lot of the group sessions on how to be able to apply it, put it into play, and be able to really kind of have that practice. No, John, I did not say role play.
You said role play. My ears perked up.
You know. So they'll have to role play and interview each other and deal with difficult conversations. Yes. One of the things that we're going to do for the Matrix that we haven't even shared with them, so we'll spill a little bit of the tea, but we're going to start working with them on their 2026 kind of business plan, right? We're going to start having them build business plans, but the first one's just like everything else is going to be step by step, right? It's going to be really kind of a 3-step process in order to prepare for 2026. So anyways, really excited about that. Let's see here. Rich is going, yeah, boy, business matrix, baby. Shout out to you out there, Rich. Big shout out to all you guys out there. So let's do what we wanted to do. And, we had somebody that sent in some questions, talked about water chemistry, and really kind of brought up a couple good points that made us kind of think. And he sent out a message and he said, my name is Jonah Callahan, and I just purchased a small route in Lancaster. I've been doing them for about 2 months now, but have a lot of questions. And so he sent us, I think, like 22 questions, but I think we drafted the first 10. So the challenge to John is that you got 30 minutes, you got 10 questions. So that's what, 3 minutes per question?
That's 3 minutes per question, but we got to figure in the break and then final thoughts and stuff. So I think I'm still at like two and a half minutes per question.
Okay. So
we might get through like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. I need a countdown. So I'm going to try to go a little bit more into detail, but not too far into the weeds on these questions, because I answered a lot of them on the live, but we were doing like a time thing. Anybody who's listening live and has any questions, just shoot them out there and I can kind of clarify them on the spot. But the goal is to be able to answer it clearly without getting too technical, so that we can help our friend out.
All right. So Zach, are you going to track the time? You track the time, Zach.
I will.
And then you give the hand signals to John.
Yeah. And then I'll trade off to you. And Edgar and Zach, I'll trade off to you guys on a couple, questions and stuff like that as well. Let's do it.
I'm game.
10 questions. You'll have about 25 minutes after the break.
So let's do this, John. Let's answer 2 questions.
No, I'll do it. Let's see how it goes. Take a word
from our sponsor.
I think I can do it. I'm going to look, as I get older, I don't ramble as much. I know that I only have so many breaths left in my life. And
you're not trying to give them all up.
I'm not trying to give them all up. So I'm going to.
All right. So let's get started. I have a couple of saltwater pools and my pH keeps creeping up. Why is that?
Okay. So great question. There's a few reasons why a salt pool in particular tends to rise in pH faster than most pools, but in reality, every single pool you have, for the most part, will continue to rise in pH. So whatever you set it to or whatever you dose it to when you get there, you can expect that the pH will be higher when you arrive the following week. For the most part, simply because water always seeks to balance itself, and it wants to reach equilibrium with the atmosphere, and it will continuously release carbon dioxide, which raises pH, and that's done through turbulence. It's done through jets, through spill features, through a bunch of different things, chemicals we add, etc. And your pH will always rise. But with the salt cell in particular, you not only have a little chlorine factory in that cell, but you are also creating byproducts. And during that function of electrolysis, which creates the chlorine gas or creates the chlorine, enters into the pool, you have a lot of turbulence. You have bubbles, right? And bubbles is turbulence, and that also increases pH. But you also have a byproduct, which is sodium hydroxide, which is very caustic, and it is it's lye is what it actually is, and it has a pH of about 14. So not only are you introducing chlorine into the pool, but you're introducing that sodium hydroxide, which is raising pH in the water. So that is why you have a constant pH rise in your saltwater pools.
And I do have to say, this is we're kind of having flashbacks already.
I love Todd, Pure Star Baby.
We're having flashbacks. It's like,
but Todd's right. So look,
Pop,
so there's a little bit here. So I'm going to say, look, Todd keeps bringing up the Pure Star, and we use it and we love it, right? Ozone is amazing to have in your pool. And, you also need to have chlorine in there. So you use it in conjunction with the salt system. And by having an ozone system, you're able to run your salt generator at a lot less, right? So one, it lasts longer. Two, you don't have to run it as hard. So you're not creating as much of that byproduct and as much as that turbulence, but it is offset a little bit by the ozone, because the ozone creates a little bit of turbulence in those champagne bubbles too. But all in all, I'm sure you get a less of a pH creep, because your salt cell's not working quite as hard, because you do have ozone in there. So Todd does have a point when it comes down to adding ozone to your pool, or putting the Pure Star in particular.
Let's see how many questions of these we asked today that he pops up in the little.
Oh, it's going to be that. Yep.
Right. He's on. So we're going.
Yeah.
So,
no, but it's true. Look, I have them on there. They're badass, man. The Pure Stars are, and I run my salt systems in it depends. It depends on the use. It depends on which way it's facing and stuff like that. As far as like the sun and sun exposure, but I don't have to. I run my generator year over year. After the ozone, it's running about 50% less than what we needed to do before. So again, a lot of other factors go into it, but he's right. It does help for sure.
Hey, I do have one question that popped up, but in the meantime, really quick, and for those of you that are only listening to this podcast, you will not be able to see it, but those of you that are watching it, here is Corey's 21-foot silo.
Is it going to be an Airbnb inside?
Cool. That would be cool.
See, I get like horror movie vibes, dude. What was that one movie where there was a silo, and there was like a famous movie where there was a silo?
Was it a Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
No, it was, and there was somebody who was trapped in there, and you know what? I think it might have been like
every horror movie.
It was it. I think it was like a Saw movie, one of the Saw movies, where that was one of the things. I don't know, but
and they were stuck, and it started to fill, and they couldn't get out.
Something weird.
I think I kind of saw that too. So, John, curveball for you. Ready?
Yeah.
So we've added another question. So you have 11. Do any of you use enzymes like Orenda CB600 as part of your weekly service? If so, what has been your experiences with them?
I absolutely use enzymes with service every single week, and we use them for two reasons. One, Adding enzymes into the pool does help tremendously when it comes down to breaking down some of those, suntan lotion oils and bronzers and all that extra crap and that you get into a pool, especially if it's heavily used. We have a lot of Airbnbs, and the amount of gunk and crap that go into it, it's really hard for chlorine to be able to break and oxidize that stuff down. We like to, you want to, if you ever got that scum line on the tile from a bunch of dirty bathers and people overusing the pool and abusing it and not cleaning themselves before they go in there and doing some activities that aren't really suited for a swimming pool inside the swimming pool, right? When you add enzymes, it absolutely helps. And Pure Star, yes, right? And the other thing that we use enzymes for too, as well, is, we speak about these palm tree flowerings that go into the pool, but when we go into the backyard, the first thing I do is I walk in there, right, and I just spray the top of the pool. I go to the edge on the outside part of the skimmer, or the furthest point away from the skimmer, and I go around the edge, and then I shoot like 10 different sprays all around that edge, and everything that is on top, right? It's a surfactant, and it literally pushes all the debris, kind of like tile soap or Dawn dish soap. That is a trick that pool guys or pool girls use. But enzymes, if you use quality enzymes, they'll do the same exact thing. And it pushes all the smaller debris and dust towards the skimmer, or puts it all in one area so that you're able to skim it nice and quickly. It helps cut down on chlorine costs because it does a lot of the hard work that chlorine can't or doesn't do too well breaking down when it comes down to like oxidizing. So we've been using it now for going over a decade. And the particular model, or the particular one that we use, is ORB3. CV 600 or 700 or, from Orendo was something that we used to use as well, which has the blend between phosphates and has the enzyme or the phosphate remover and the enzymes in there. But the problem is it's really diluted, or it's not as potent. So it doesn't do that trick that we talk about when it comes down to spreading the dirt, as well as some of the other enzymes out there. And but yeah, we use them, and we believe in them truly, but we also charge for them as well. Right.
That was going to be my next thing. Make sure we talk about
enzymes are expensive, right? And if you're going to use them and dose them and put them in the pool, yes, it helps in the long run. One, because you have better, cleaner, healthier water, and a better experience for your customer. That adds value as well. And we charge on a quarterly basis. So all in all, we charge like $125 4 times a year now, which covers all our all the additional chemicals that we add, or minerals and enzymes, phosphate removers, or anything that we need to put into the pool. We do that. We do it accordingly, but we charge for it.
Yeah, here in New Orleans, this is Ed. Here in New Orleans, we use Regal Enzymes Remover and Phos-Free. If not weekly, at least monthly. Helps us no more need for Algicide or Pool RX. And then our boy Todd, O3 breaks down.
O3 does everything.
Yep. So.
It cooks you dinner too. The Pure Star.
All right. Next question before we take a break is Zach, I'll let you ask the next question. Sorry.
All right. Next question. Is it true that you can get chlorine lock in pools? Some people say yes. Some people say no.
Well, look, this has been a debate for many, many years, for at least as long as I've been in the pool industry, and I've heard different opinions from many other people over and over. And I've experienced some myself, or something what we would think is what is chlorine lock. But at the end of the day, especially over the last few years, we've done a lot more research into understanding chlorine and the effects of CYA, especially because it's been quite the hot topic, at least for the last 5 years. So we have a better understanding of what it is. And this is what the myth is, that chlorine lock, once you have X amount of CYA or conditioner in the pool, that you just can't sanitize or keep a residual in there. Or even though you have chlorine in it, it doesn't, it's slowed down so much that it's not able to kill algae. And you can still turn your pool green or have algae problems, and the chlorine is just locked up and useless. But what we've come to find out is that there is a relationship between CYA or cyanuric acid and free chlorine, and there's a ratio that needs to be maintained in order for you to have the proper amount of free chlorine available to be able to kill algae and disinfect accordingly. And that ratio is 7.5% of whatever your CYA level is. And I think this is the problem, is when a lot of people have pools and they have high CYA levels and they think they have a 1 or 2 or 3 parts per million of chlorine in the pool. Yeah, you have it, but it's not available because it's being bound up or locked up by CYA because you are under that ratio. So to put it into perspective, if you have a CYA level of 50 parts per million in that water, you need to be able to maintain a 3.75 parts per million of free chlorine at all times, that or above, in order to have enough disinfectant in there, or the killing form of chlorine, to be able to manage or keep up with algae, right? So that's where the myth, that's where the problem is. So I don't necessarily believe in chlorine lock. You have it and you can't do anything about it. The problem is you just don't have enough chlorine, or you're not keeping up to that ratio. So there are other things that you can do to lower that ratio. And one thing I've talked in detail over the years is about adding borates into the pool. And when you introduce borates into the pool, that percentage or that ratio falls from 7.5% to 5% of your CYA. So easy math, if you're at 50 parts per million, then you only need 2.5 parts per million of free chlorine in the pool at all times in order to destroy or keep up with the algae. So hopefully that answers that question. And then, there's other things too. Another thing is when you have nitrites, nitrates in the water too, or other different components that is in there in conjunction with high CYA, what it can do is it can eat up your chlorine as well. So when, let's say, for instance, you have high nitrates or nitrites, what it does is it consumes your chlorine. It consumes a lot of it, and it doesn't allow you to hold a residual. If you have excess iron in the pool, excess iron can actually eat up your chlorine as well. So there's just a lot of different things that go into it, and it's not as simple as just saying, my COA is too high or whatever, and that's the case. But the reality is this: if you have conditioner levels that are that high, you should already be having conversations with your client and letting them know that it is possible that you need to dilute the water.
It is
right?
time.
You are the professional, and when you're in the backyard, that is our job and our duty to let them know, hey, look, this is essentially a big bathtub. And this is how I explain it to customers. And I go, on average, we're going to need to dilute or drain or replace your water every about 3 years, and that's just a reality of it. Think of it as a bathtub. When you take a bath, do you get out and then go back and take a bath the next day in the same water? No, right?
Or put other people and then use it.
You don't do it, right? So, the good thing about a swimming pool is through technology, through mechanical filtration, through chemicals and stuff, there's a lot of things that we can do in order to help keep that water clean, but eventually it gets to the point where you can't. And I think I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about that later when we get to a TDS question, I think is one of them, but I don't know if we're going to make it. But if we do, I'll talk more about it.
There's your signal. It says Zach's giving you your signal. Okay. Hey guys, let's do this. By the way, Ed is saying, God, I love pool nerds in all caps. And I'm like, we could do this all day, right?
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure normally our families aren't very thrilled about it, but we do it anyways, right? So let's see here really quick before we take a message. Fresh water is cheaper than pool chemicals. Our family love us for being crazy for pools. Absolutely. That's why they love us, right? Anyways, guys, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results, designed with the pros time and comfort in mind. The patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We continue our conversation. We're doing a deep dive. We're geeking out like pool guys that we are out here. And so, Mr. Flawless, you doing good? You okay?
I'm doing great. Yeah, life is good.
Life is good. All right. All right.
I think so. How am I doing on time? Am I doing okay on time?
You are about 15 minutes out. So you've gotten through 2 questions. So,
but the answers are making sense, though, right?
No, perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to clarify anything? Am I missing anything? Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I have a follow-up. I'm going to throw a curveball in here. So we were talking about chlorine lock. Is it a thing?
Sure.
Is it not? And high CYA levels. I'm curious what you would say or recommend as far as testing higher CYA levels to get like an accurate reading at a
Yeah,
higher level.
that's a good question. That's something that I'm sure a lot of us have kind of had to battle with before, because you're feeling, let's say most of us are probably using a Taylor, right? We use Spin Touch, we use Taylor, we use just about every, and that's a whole nother topic, right? On testing, right, Zach? We won't get into that, but Taylor is our way. And and you start, you shake it up, you do your thing, right? You add your pool water, you put your drops in, you shake it up, and then you pour it in that little vial, and then immediately the black dot is gone, right? So you're trying to figure out, well, where's my CYA level? I can only really get up to like 90, 100 parts per million or something. I can't really get much higher than that. So am I at 200? Am I at 300? What do I need to do? Usually in that case, it's like, okay, it's time to drain or dilute your water. But if to do it correctly, and especially since we're talking about the ratio of free chlorine and how much you need to do, and it's very important when you have when your levels are that high, because there's other things that change in your water that you need to be very careful of, and that's especially when it comes down to like having excess copper in the water or adding anything with copper in the water with very high CYA levels. You can get fallout and get the purple monster, the purple dust in the pool. But the best way, and the way we do it, is really simple, is just dilute the water, right? So you would take water that does not have cyanuric acid, and usually anything but pool water doesn't have cyanuric acid. Tap water coming out of the tap doesn't have CYA, so you're going to usually dilute it with tap water. So you double it or triple it or quadruple it or whatever you need to do, and then multiply the results accordingly, right? So if you put half tap water, half pool water, and then you're at 100, technically you're really at 200 parts per million of CYA, and then you would do it like that, and that's how you get an accurate count of what your CYA level is.
All right, next question. What type of chlorine is better for when I need to shock pools?
Okay. So look, chlorine is chlorine, right? At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is deliver chlorine into the pool. And there are a plethora of delivery devices in order to achieve that. And, we can name off a few of them. We can put trichlor into a pool. We can put it in powder form. We can put it in granular form. We can put it in tablet form. We can do dichlor. We can do cal hypo. We can do liquid chlorine or bleach. There's so many different ways to add chlorine into a pool. And what's important is that as a pool professional, you need to understand that you think of them as like, tools, right? And you have to have a good understanding of the chemistry of that pool or that body of water, because no two pools are the same. And you need to dose or shock that pool based off of what is best for it, because whatever amount or whatever delivery method you add when you're adding chlorine into a pool, aside from like chlorine gas, you are adding a byproduct into it, right? And you need to be aware of it. And so when you're adding cal hypo into a pool, though you're going to get chlorine, you're also going to be adding calcium. So if you have a pool that is already very high in pH at the moment, because cal hypo is high in pH initially, right? And then it evens out. But again, that's a different subject. But you probably don't want to add cal hypo into it, right? Because you're only going to increase your calcium levels. But if you have a pool that is low in calcium or on the lower end, and it can absorb or can take a little bit more calcium, that might be the better option for you. If you have a pool that is maybe a little bit low, and this is what we usually do when it comes down to gearing up for summer, and I have some of our pools that are like at 30, 40 parts per million of CYA, and they're a salt pool, and I want to get that pool back up to like 50 or 60 or 70, because that's where I want to keep my CYA levels with the salt pool. Then the upcoming months before summer, I start dosing it with dichlor, right? Because dichlor is pH neutral. You can throw it and broadcast it into a pool without worrying about it destroying a finish. and it's very high in CYA. It actually has more conditioner in dichlor than trichlor does. So we would use dichlor in that case if we want to shock the pool. If you have, let's say, algae spots, or, let's say if you have, it's getting towards summertime and you have a little bit of black algae spots on the bottom of the pool, and you can't really put dichlor in it because dichlor dissolves a little too quick. You can't really put cal-hypo because cal-hypo dissolves too quick. Your CYA levels are in check, and you want to take advantage of getting on top of those spots. You can throw a little bit of trichlor down as long as it's the right type of finish. You don't leave it there; it'll burn the pool, right? Or burn the finish, and you can use that to shock the pool and then do a little brushing. Because it's just there's just not one size fits all approach. So at the end of to make a long story short, understand your pool chemistry and use the chlorine accordingly. And then the last but not least is bleach, or using liquid chlorine, and that's our preferred method of shock. It's the easiest, it's the quickest, it's the fastest acting, right? It literally dissolves right into the water and it starts working immediately. And the only byproduct from adding bleach to the pool or liquid chlorine is salt. You get about 1 pound of salt per gallon of chlorine that you add, which contributes a little bit to TDS, but everything contributes to TDS. So. That work?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that was great.
I was going to say
Struggle
something
with
in the
you.
middle of that, and then I'm just like, you're on such a roll that I'm like, shut your mouth and let boy roll.
Cool. Okay.
You're on a roll today.
All right, let's go.
All right, next question. I have learned that pH is important for chlorine effectiveness. What's the actual danger of it being off by a little?
Okay. So 100% correct. And there have been some people that have kind of clouded the airwaves a little bit, saying at one time where they were talking about that if you have, that once cyanuric acid is added into the pool, that chlorine is no longer pH. It's not affected by pH, but the reality is, and what we know is that the free chlorine that is not bound by CYA that's in the water is actually the effectiveness of it, or the killing agent HOCl, right? Is highly affected by what levels your pH is at. So, for instance, and I'll kind of give you an example. The lower the pH, the more killing form of chlorine is available and active in the water. The higher the pH, the less, right? And it doesn't mean that chlorine isn't there. It just means that it's less effective and it's a slower form of chlorine, and it's not preferable in the pool. To say not safe if its pH is off by a little, no. I would say as long as you're within range, you're okay, right? Now, when we're talking about the difference between like 7.5 and 7.8, yes, there is a little bit of a difference between it, but it wouldn't make the water unsafe for a swimmer in the pool. But what you need to understand is that the ideal pH is around 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, and at that point, pH is at about, or the chlorine is at about 50-50 when it comes down to the active killing form of chlorine being available in the water to disinfect your pool water. When the pH is at like 8.3, 8.4, think of it, you're only at about 9% available, which really starts to bog things down, and where issues can happen. And people, it can be unhealthy for sure. When your pH is too low, like for instance at like 6.0, you have roughly, I think, about 89-90% of the killing form. So again, it's very important that you stay on top of pH. pH plays a very vital role in keeping the pool water clean, safe, and for your swimmers and for your equipment in the vessel. So just keep it in line within, like I said, within the ranges, or more importantly, if you guys have studied Bob Lowry's teachings, we talk about target chemistry, which makes it a little bit easier so that you have a target of where you should be shooting at every single week when you're there in the backyard. And that target is 7.5 in pH. keep it there, and you'll be good.
7.5, baby, 7.5. All right, next question, John. Is high calcium hardness a big deal? My pools look fine, but test over 500 on a couple of them.
So look, calcium used to be the boogie monster, right, for everybody. And I remember when I first got in, and I remember when I first tested pools, and when I took over some pools, and I went to the backyards and I looked and I said, wow, we took over accounts and there was nothing, no calcium line. There was nothing, the pool looked kind of great, but boy, it wasn't safe. Alkalinity was like 0. pH was like at 6.5, you know what I mean? And calcium was like non-existent. I swear they filled it up with soft water, right? And I've had pools where they've done it, where I'm like, dude, what's wrong? You have no calcium, and they're hooked up to soft water systems, and that's what's filling up the pool, and you got tons of salt, right? And you got no calcium, and you're like, what the hell is going on? I got the Pacific Ocean is being funneled into this pool. And I remember beating my head over it like 10 years ago, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this water, but I figured it out. But calcium is a very vital, it's very vital for water, and water will always seek to balance itself. And the one thing that it needs is calcium. It will find it at all costs, and it will destroy anything in its way, so that it can satisfy itself and become balanced. And in the pool industry, and inside a pool, a plaster pool, it's destroying plaster or grout or whatever cementatious item it will find and draw calcium out of it. So the days of trying to keep your calcium below 200 or 100 is just not good enough, right? It's just not right. And what we found out is that water, in order for it to be balanced, needs to maintain, on average, for a plaster pool, you need to have roughly about 350 parts per million of calcium. And that is like the bare minimum that you need to have. So when you start to get 500 parts per million, that is not much higher than what the minimum is. So I want to challenge you to shift your mindset on what calcium is and does for your water, and to know that when your levels do get to 500, 600, 700, and I have plenty of them en route that are at that level for various types of reasons, that as long as you are balancing your water according to LSI and you have an understanding of it, there are other things you can do, right, to help offset the increased amount of calcium. For instance, you can lower alkalinity. One pools that have higher calcium levels, you keep your alkalinity a little bit lower. It'll offset the effect of higher calcium so that you don't have the precipitation or the calcium fallout that we all hate and don't want, you know what I mean? And the customers complain about. Will help with that. But again, too much of anything or too little of anything is not good. So, once you start, getting up to like 1,000, 1,200, is it manageable? Absolutely. Is it truly economical and smart? No. Once calcium really gets too high, you need to be able to have that conversation with your client and find a way to be able to get them to dilute the water so that you can put it in a more manageable state, because it becomes harder to balance when you have calcium levels well above 1,000. But 500 is not a big deal. Just manage LSI and you'll find yourself just fine when it comes down to water clarity and quality.
Just gold. I don't know. What would be the sound of gold? Would it probably have to be a register, right? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Or my bracelet that
clank.
The bracelet that you had.
My clanking.
Sound of gold, baby.
Yeah. No, a lot of really good stuff here on this podcast. Let's do this, guys. Let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, John, you got the 5 questions. You
That's not bad.
50%. You did better than the 3. So that's
two
additional questions.
2 additional. Yeah. Oh, that's true. 2 additional questions. So you got the 7. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was trying to go fast.
No,
You
but
know?
good stuff. But good stuff.
Okay. All right.
You do not know what Zach and I were just texting back and forth. So prepare. You're gonna be like, oh man, why did I answer these questions? We have a plethora of ideas that are coming just because of you answering this question. So
Let's go.
anyways,
All right.
let's take our final word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
All right.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. Big shout out to Mama. I think she was having a little bit of a laugh either for the table or because I was kind of dancing my way through the commercials.
Definitely the dancing.
Definitely the dancing. For some reason, the music just kind of got into my head today, and I was kind of browsing at my phone and forgot what I was doing. And all of a sudden, I look up and I see the smile, and I'm like, "Oh, damn!" So
Busted.
busted. Mr. Zacharias, let me get some final thoughts.
Yeah.
Other than wanting to get into a studio for 400 videos.
And that's what needs to happen, because this is gold. And I appreciate you answering these, John. And it's nice sometimes to get it in small bits, like you always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And having some bite-sized questions and answers can really help clarify things. You just have a really good way of breaking it down and putting it in a perspective that makes sense in the real world. So thanks for doing that. I think this was a really good episode. Very informative.
Mr. Flawless, give us some final thoughts on yourself, on your performance, how well you think you did, lighting, verbiage, answering the questions. Give us, give us a rating of how
time management was
your time management.
Look, I'm not going to get into all that.
The time management class that you took is working.
Is that what it is? No, look, I'm not going to get into all that. Look, I just hope that, these are very important questions, and, this is what we've done from the very beginning. And I know we all had a conversation about this, and it's important that we have a laundry list of questions and some real stuff out there that people are experiencing and struggling with on a day-to-day basis. And if, we can shed some wisdom, and our experiences, and help them through, some of these pitfalls, or how to manage water better, because we've fallen on our faces 1,000 times before in the past, and we've learned the hard way. And, we've done the research, and, we've learned by experience, and, we've studied, and we've done all that. And I enjoy doing this. I am at heart a geek when it comes down to this. If I wasn't interested in it, or if I wasn't passionate about it, then I wouldn't be doing it, because I'm just not built that way. And this is one thing that I truly love, and I hope that it helps people. I really do. And the only thing that I'm measuring is whether or not I was able to not ramble as much and get the point across correctly without going off the deep end, or starting to talk about, sports or fishing, or somehow tying the conversation into dinner tonight, but yes, right. No, we need to do more of it. So I'm looking forward to it, and stay tuned, guys. We have it on the agenda. We're going to be putting a lot more of these videos, and a lot more content is going to be uploaded to the Poolman University. So those of you that don't have it, make sure you download it and get in there, if anything, for the chat, so that we can stay in touch, and we can talk via the app, or you guys can watch some of the videos that we put up on our own, and some of our amazing partners have gone up there with some really cool teachings from, like, Alicia, and from Terry, and so many others. So download the app if you want to get educated. You want more questions, feel free to shoot them up, and we're going to do our best to get through them, and we're going to be doing more and more of these every week. So
absolutely. All right, everybody. Hope that you guys have a great weekend. Catch me and John on the Instagram Live next Wednesday. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Catch you later, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry, a pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.